Hey community, this is Dr. Hugh, and I want to go over this mold detoxification protocol and really want to spend some time just so you can see how intricate the protocol is. So I'm going to show you the before and after labs of this client right here. And she was in her mid-50s, chronic illness, low white blood cell count, went to the hematologist, ruled out cancer, and at the end of the day, she had a lot of different things going on. So I want to walk you through this process because it's not as simple as, oh, let's just start this detox and you're going to get better. So I really want to spend some time and do this justice so you can understand what's all involved with detoxification. Now, again, it's not like, oh, let's just go out and get this detox and you're going to start doing these protocols and you're going to be better. You need to step back and you need a really specific guided plan. So what I'm going to show you right here is this is her test, her first test, June 15th, 2025. Now, you can see over in this area right in here, you can see this area. Okay, so this is her first test, June 15th, 2025. And how this test really works in here, you can see this in here, the red zone right in there, right? And then you have this yellow zone, and then you have the green zone. So what you're really trying to accomplish here is obviously you want as many things as in green right here, because there are so many reds. I'm just showing you all the markers that are really out of whack. Now, when we get down here at the end of the protocol, I'm going to show you her yellows on the second test. So you can see how these things have drastically gone down. So this test checks 87 different chemicals. So it checked molds, heavy metals, and environmental chemicals. Now, when you look in here, you can see this here. It says mycotoxin, that's mold, heavy metal, and then environmental pollutants. Now, if we scoot over here, you can see how this emblem right here, or this symbol right here, this mycotox right here, you see how it has that little emblem right there. So that's going to tell you that's a mold. So if we roll down here, so out of the 15 markers that she has, 10 markers are mold, 3 are heavy metals. So we're going to go over here. This is the heavy metal marker, and here's the environmental marker. So you can see it here. She has uranium, nickel, and barium, and then she also has 2 environmental pollutants. So this is the first check. So obviously she was lit up like a Christmas tree. And then I'm just going to show you 4 months later. So 4 months later, you can see this part in here. Now she's down to basically 5 markers. So she went from 10 to 5 markers. And if you can look in here, this is just a drastic change. And in basically 4 months, her health completely turned around. She's way better. She's, just things have happened to her where she's been in the sick system and going to doctor to doctor with no results. Now, before we started the detox, I want to be really pretty clear on this. Before any detox was started, we did blood work, blood labs, about 10 or 11 vials of blood. And then before the detox was started, I want to show you what I set her up on initially here before the detox, because you have to get the body primed. You just can't rush into detox. If you rush into pulling mold and heavy metals, you are going to absolutely crash and burn. And that's not what I want for you to happen. So I wrote up initial plan right here. So the initial plan was to reduce inflammation, alleviate chronic pain and neuropathy, restore gut function and nutritional absorption, normalize blood sugar levels, support immune system, mitochondrial health, establish good sleep patterns, and then prepare, right? So in here, what we're doing, we're preparing the body for future detoxification. Step 1, you can read these things in here. Step 1, step 2, I referred her out to a specialist, a hematologist, because her medical doctor was concerned that she might have bone cancer because her white blood cell count was severely low. Now, after the post-test, her white blood cell count actually went up, so that's a good thing. So the initial plan right here, what did we do initially we had her do a 5-food day journal. I want to see what she's eating. I had her switch to basically eating meat and then fruits. I have all videos on this. She wasn't moving very well, so we started getting her on a chi machine. This is a thing that just helps you move. When people have chronic illness, they have a hard time moving. I put her on some massage percussion around her gut because her gut wasn't very well. I started red light therapy. Now, granted, this is 4 weeks in advance. I did a protocol where we're actually checking to see what her blood sugar levels are. So we wanted to make sure that her blood sugars are in with a normal, healthy range. So then she sent that back to me. And then we also started to do a sleep protocol. Now, here's the thing with the sleep protocol. If you're not sleeping, detox isn't going to work. So there's a hierarchy of things that you want to do. You just don't want to jump into detox because you're going to crash and burn. So we set her up on a very specific sleep program, Epsom salt baths. I had her eat something before she went to bed. And then she did a white noise machine as well. Epsom salts are really, really critical. And then we started her on some different supplements here. Now you can see here, we started on magnesium L-threonate, magnesium glycinate, and then magnesium powder. So all three of these powders were needed in her case to get her body functioning better. And of course, I put a little side note here, is watch out for loose stools because these things can cause loose stools. And then we had basically, I was giving her some essential fatty acids, fish oil, some protein powder, very specific protein powder. It's a paleo protein, so it comes from beef. We wanted to eliminate as many food sensitivities as possible. And then Udo's oil, which is a 3, 6, and 9 blend. Now, this right here is very, very important. I want to read this to you. This was in her notes right here. Important note on mold detoxification. We will not begin any mold detox at this time. Before safety detoxification, we must do what? Correct nutritional deficiencies, restore gut function, address inflammation, and stabilize blood sugars. Once your cellular health and resilience improves, then we focus on detoxification. So we did basically 4 to 6 weeks of this getting the body prepped because you just don't want to jump into detox because you are going to crash and burn, right? So we got things prepped up for her to get better, and she did really quite well. Okay, so this right here. So what I'm going to go in is the initial part is just establishing the body to make sure that the body can actually detox. Then I use products through Quicksilver Scientifics, right? It's a supplement company. I think they have the highest quality products on the market. And what we did is this is their kind of wording. They have what they call is a 8 weeks pre-detox. So what's the 8 weeks pre-detox? What we're actually trying to do is get the cell membranes healthy enough for detox. When God designed us, he designed us with 30 trillion cells, almost the national debt, 30 trillion cells. So we really want to start initially the first 8 weeks after we have the basic fundamental principles done, which I just talked about, is we want to make sure that your cell membranes are healthy. If your cell membranes are not healthy, you're not going to be able to get detox out, the bad things out and the good things in. So for 8 weeks, Quicksilver Products has this thing right here, which is called the Pre-Detox system. So what's all involved in the Pre-Detox system? In here, we have this right here, which is called bitters. This helps the liver. The liver is one of your most important detoxification pathways. So if you have any chronic illness at all, you have a poor liver. Your liver's not functioning well. Your liver is what detoxifies a lot of your system. So it's liver, kidneys, and then sweat, right? So liver, kidneys, and sweat. These are your 3, and pooping, right? So there's 4. So these are the main detoxifications. You have to make sure that these detoxification systems are healthy. Now, for example, when it comes to the stools, like she was constipated, you cannot detox unless you are making 2 to 3 bowel movements. Well, let me say 1 to 3 bowel movements every single day in and day out. No gas, no bloating, no diarrhea. If you have something other than that, your GI system is not well. So you want to start with that first because you want to flush these things out. If you have constipation, that's bad news bears. Okay, so then here we did which is a kidney care, which we're going to support your kidneys. So liver, kidneys, right? Vitamin C here, this is a liquid vitamin C. This is a natural antioxidant because we're going to be starting to prep the body, and we want to make sure that your cells are nice and healthy. And I have a whole series on this right here, Membrane Mend. This is a specific, what we call phosphatidylcholine, but it has other things in it that get in the cell membranes and then help the cell membranes to detox. Now, this is pretty interesting. When it comes to detoxification, the cell membranes have the same makeup as the mitochondria. And in fact, all your different organelles in the cell have basically all of them are made out of phosphatidylcholine. This is what the cell membrane is made out of, is phosphatidylcholine. So this is really critical to start getting the proper membrane health. And then finally here we did a binder, and you can see this binder right here. It's what they call the ultra sensitive binder. So the ultra sensitive binder. So even in the Quicksilver Scientific product, the pre-detox system, you're still using binder, but it's more of a gentler binder. Okay, so in here, this is the system. Now, I want to bring this to your attention right in here. So you can see this cost right here. So the cost of this right here, retail, is $551, right? So these products are the best products in the market, in my opinion, and they generally cost a little bit more than normal products. Now, my cost right here is $275. So what happens is when clients are on care, when they're on a plan, all my supplements, all my clients get the products at wholesale, right? So whatever I pay for them is what the client pays for them. So basically, that's the benefit for being a client, is that you get drastically reduced products. And one time when we talk about going through detox, there is some detox things that you want to do and you're going to need to buy. This right here, if you want to geek out on this, you can pick that up here. This is the PDF that goes to the website and explains it more. Now this is critical. So we started this and she did half the dosing. So what you're going to see right in here is this is actually the dosing of the schedule right in here. Now what we did is, because I'm a firm believer that you want to go slow. The turtle wins the race. Never try and do things right out of the chute and do a bunch of different things. You're going to crash and burn. Slow is better. The turtle wins the race. So this is what we did with her, is we basically did half the dose for 8 weeks. So this is the protocol right here that Quicksilver recommends. Now, obviously, with my cases, I'm in communication. We have Zoom calls or phone calls about every 2 weeks, and there's modifications as you go along. There was modifications with this client, but I'm just trying to give you a general a general overview of what the detoxification plan looks like. But when people are in it, this is a custom plan, and you have to be able to communicate with people, with my clients, to see, should we be doing this? Should we back off? So it's a communication thing that's really critical that actually gets the results. So we did this basically for 8 weeks. Now, if you did this on the full-time cycle right here, basically what you're looking at right here is, this is the full cycle right here, 5 days on, 2 days off. So this ran 8 weeks. So we let this protocol run 8 weeks. Then what happens here? Then after, this is what they call the pre-detox, right? This is the pre-detox. Then we get into the advanced push catch protocol right here, that they call the advanced push catch protocol. Now this is a little more aggressive. This is where we're actually trying to pull things out. Like the pre-detox, which I just went over, is just trying to make your cell membranes are as healthy as possible so things can get out and things can get in. Now we're trying to pull things out. So this is a 4-week protocol. So we did a 4-week protocol in her. At the end of the day, it ended up being, I think it ended up being around maybe like 5 to 6 weeks by the time you get into it and you get moving. So one thing with the detox protocol is there's no exact right way to do this, right? So they're all individual. You don't have to do everything exactly right to get a result, right? So that's the cool thing when it comes to these detoxification programs. So this was an 8-week program. Now, if here you want to geek out, this is the PDF right in there. You can look at that. Now, for this one right here, I didn't have her do half the dose. We went full weeks, full dose. So in here, this is what you're seeing in here. This is a full protocol right in here. That's a full protocol. So that's what we did with that. That's a protocol right there. And in here, what makes this a little bit different? Let me just see if I have a picture of this. No, okay, so let me just blow this up. So this is really hard to see. I should have put in a better picture in here, but in the links below, I'll put a better picture in there. So this is it's hard to see, but this is the Ultra Binder, right? So they have a product called the Ultra Binder, and then what's really in the pre-detox right here is the Ultra Binder Sensitive. Right, so here's a sensitive binder, and here this is more of, it's not so sensitive. It's more of an aggressive binder to pull things out. And then also here, these things right in here, what are those things? It's kind of hard to see. but that is actually the glutathione. So you can see liposomal glutathione. So glutathione is a great detoxifier. Glutathione will grab onto the stuff, grab onto the heavy molds, the heavy metals, molds, and environmental pollutants. Grab that and pull that out. Okay, so it's a puller. So in the pre-detox, we didn't want to pull. We just wanted to get the cell membranes ready to be pulled. But when things are ready to be pulled, this is when you can really start to get well and start to function at a high degree. Now, I want to spend some time on these labs right here. So in here, this is obviously, these were the first labs that we took right in here. And she had 15 reds, right? Oops. She had 15 reds in here, which is massively high. I told her, you are lit up like a Christmas tree, right? And then in here, basically, this is 4 months later. This is what we're seeing right here. We went from 15 to 5, right? So this is a massive change. Now, in that time, her life completely did a 180. Like, she's enjoying life. She got a transformation when it came to life, right? And she went to the conventional system. They said, you're crazy. It's all in your head. We don't know what to do. Go to the cancer doctor. Like, if you go to the cancer doctor because their white blood cell is low, it's lab low, which was very, very low, that's concerning, right? They don't have any tools. They're not going to check for environmental pollutants and heavy metals and chemicals because the system just doesn't do that, right? Now, this is a test that I want to show you right here. Now, I didn't show you, this is the first time that you're seeing this test right here. This is also on the test here, and you can see here, these are all the yellows right in here. So let me explain this a little bit more in depth. So these are the yellows. So if we go back and look, let's go back and look at the initial test, right? So the initial test, so you can see all these different yellows right in here, yellow, yellow, yellow in here. Now let's go down here to this test in here. And what I want to show you here is this is her second test, right? So this is part of this test right in here. So this is the second test, and these are all the yellows. Now, what you can see here is if you look at this, what you can see here is this right here, that light blue is where it was, and the dark blue is current. So the light blue is where it was, the dark blue is what the current reading is right now. So you can see this like here. This is blue, light blue to dark, down, right? The one marker, this one marker did go up, but everything else went down. Let's check out the reds. See this red right here? Light blue, down. Or I'm sorry, yeah, light blue, down to the yellow. Here's the light blue, down to yellow. Here's, look at that. This is light blue, down to the yellow. So now what we're doing here, so you can see this is a massive change. Like, this is a huge amount of burden, toxic load burden that she's not dealing with. Her mitochondria is better, her cells are better, her life is better, her relationship's better, her relationship with her husband's better, her grandkids. She works on a farm. She's an active grandma, and she loves it. So we just started this protocol right here. So now Quicksilver has different specialties, I guess you could say, when it comes to different things. And this is what we call the mold. This is the mold kit right here. And because when I look at this test right here, she still has a lot of mold. So you remember that little emblem right here, right? That's a mold. This is a mold. This is a mold, 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 mold. So when I looked at this, I'm like, it still looks like you have a lot more molds, right, than heavy metals or environmental pollutants, which are these metals. These are things right here, are the metals right in here, and these are the environmental pollutants. So we're going to do another detox program, and this is going to be specifically for mold. And again, this has a few different things in here. It's hard to see, but it has some stuff for mitochondria. It also has this microbe right here. We're trying to kill some parasites, some bugs. It has like a nasal rinse. A lot of people that have mold, like the mold stays up in their cavities. I find a lot of people have chronic sinusitis. They can't get rid of the sinus problems because mold is actually in their skull, right, causing a bunch of problems. So this is the 8-week protocol. So what we're doing here, this is an 8-week protocol. It's normally 4 weeks, but what I found out clinically is the turtle wins the race. The slower you go, the better you're going to be. So we're going to do an 8-week protocol. We're doing everything half. So we're halving all the dosing, and then what we're going to do in 10 weeks, we're going to recheck the test, the urine sample, and see how she's doing. So with that being said, I hope you found some value in this, and you can always schedule a call and see how we can help you. There's no need suffering Take care. This is Dr. Hugh.